Hello and welcome back to Media and More with the Mediocre Modeler. This past week I had the distinct honor of co-hosting Interfleet Broadcasting with my good friend, the Tipsy Toaster, Chris. The discussion was the strength of fandom. We go back to some of our favorite shows of the 70s and 80s and 90s and look at where the fandom lies. How strong is it? Is your fandom strong? Is it weak? Or is it dead? Let's look and see where your fandom fits.
Whammo.
Let's bring it.
All right, so tonight's topic is cocaine. Oh, no, I mean,
good, bad, or dead?
good, bad, or dead. So I've got my little, let me get my thing set up here. So we got good, bad, or dead. So our very first one is Doctor Who. What do you think?
Doctor Who is definitely not dead. And one of the conversations you were saying was, does it need current content to keep it alive?
Mm-hmm.
And
well,
I would...
Yeah, there's the season 13's coming out, or the season 14's coming out. So this individual down in the bottom left-hand corner, forgive me, I forgot his name. He's the new doctor.
That's the new doctor, yeah.
Yep.
So I haven't. The last Doctor I watched was the one after Tenet. So I didn't watch anything after Tenet. And
which one's Tenet?
Like he's the short guy, curly hair. I got a model in the other room.
Okay, yeah, that one I know. Very one of the very first Doctor Who's is probably the season I watched on BBC that was like really, really, really badly videoed.
Oh no, you're thinking of Tom Baker.
Yeah. Now, that's it. Curly hair, hat.
Yes. Yeah. So
that's the last one I watched. I haven't watched any since.
Wow. So for most Americans, I think that's about the time Doctor Who was when I was introduced to it was Tom Baker, and so
dude, I'm sorry. I'm going to squirrel on you for a second.
Okay.
I just scrolled over top of my Windows thing. Mm-hmm. Do you know what today is?
No.
World Bear Day.
Oh, God. It's World Cocaine Bear Day.
Sorry. All right. I scrolled off like, no, we'll get back. Okay, you know what?
So the reason I'd say, even if they weren't doing any current Doctor Who, over the weekends, there's a channel that runs Doctor Who, and I have found myself on the weekends building with Doctor Who on, and they just run show after show after show.
Do you know? Has anybody done any fan fiction or fan films on that? I haven't looked that up. I'll look that up.
I'm sure they have. Yeah. I'm sure they have, especially with the TARDIS. You could take your own take on that, and you could take it anywhere. It's so broad. Doctor Who is just so broad, and it's been on since the 60s. So I guess the reason I'd say that even without current content, it would still be alive because it's still strong because you can go back, and even with the streaming now, they make it easy for you to. You just have to turn your TV on. You don't have to go get a disc. You don't have to boot anything up. So Doctor Who, definitely strong.
Yep. And there are a number of fan films, by the way, online for YouTube.
Oh.
So who would have thought?
Okay.
I believe you're right. I think it's definitely strong. I mean, they're coming out with a new series this year. So I don't know what the special thing with them is, but they've kept up their fan base really well.
The special thing with Doctor Who is everyone always wants to see what's the new Doctor like, what's the companion like. Whenever you get a new Doctor, usually get a new companion, and then the Doctor gets to choose his own wardrobe, and then they change the interior of the TARDIS. So everybody kind of keeps up with that. That kind of keeps it fresh.
Yeah. All right, next up. Stargate. Now, this will also include Stargate Universe, Stargate Atlantis, and what was the other one? Universe Atlantis.
SG-1? Was it
SG1.
SG1,
The
Atlantis,
movies,
and
of course, the movies that were there too. So
the movies
yeah.
sucked.
So there was some talk about another show or series, but in my opinion, in this case, and I mean, I love the show. It was fun. It's always had something new going on. I would love to see it go farther, but I think I'm going to have to label it as at least weak. I don't think it's dead yet, but I would say it's weak.
With as young as if they could bring the actors back for it, if everyone's still kind of alive, I'll agree with you on that one. It's probably weak, not dead. And again, it was so broad, because you had the SG1, then you had Atlantis, then you had
yeah, you get all the different
ones.
They
milked it.
Yeah.
They milked it.
They definitely, their writers definitely knew how to go about getting more content out of one idea. So
weak. Okay.
Yeah, I would say it's weak. I think we're good there. All right, what we got next? This one. Unfortunately, oh my gosh, I love this show, but it's dead.
I've never watched it. I don't know anything about it other than that it looks like the St. Louis Arch.
Yep, the show was amazing. It had like 3 or 4 seasons. I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it's 3. Great storyline, great actors, actresses, but there's no movement on it, and there is no fan base. Zero fan base. I went online to Facebook to try to find a fan, a group, a Defiance fan group, and there really is just one group, and there's like no posts since 2019.
Oh wow! So did it end on a cliffhanger or anything?
No, it didn't end on a cliffhanger. It had a decent ending to it too, but it just, I don't know what happened. I mean, I love the character of Nolan and the the Earth Republic and all that stuff. It was great. It was a really good show. But yeah, it's unfortunately it's dead. I mean, nobody dresses up. You never go to con and see somebody dressed up in a Defiance ever.
Okay, but if you did,
I did, I'd have a heart attack.
but
I would recognize them.
Okay, but would
anybody else recognize them? Probably not, because there's just not a huge fan base.
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah,
dead.
Yeah, my daughter wanted to do an IRATH, which is the girl on the far right hand side. So
okay, I'm like, I don't know what that is.
Leonidas, that's her last name, Stephanie Leonidas.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm horrible with names, and I remember that one. That's amazing. All right, next up,
V. I would say V is weak, not dead, because it was so open in. I'm not a big fan of always going back and remaking it, but V is one you could go back and do a remake on. I would give that one a shot.
Yeah, I would say weak as well, because they did a redo. They did a reimagining of V. You ever see it? Oh my gosh, you've got to see it. It's really good. They did a reimagining of V. It was starred the girl who was the on Firefly. That was the the blue girl, Firefly.
The
Firefly. Western in space.
Oh yeah. Duh.
Yeah.
Gina Torres.
The one that she was the hooker. I can say any other word.
Oh yeah. Her. Yeah, it was such a great show. Yeah.
Yeah. So they redid. I think it had 2 seasons. You'll have to look that one up too. Great show. Redid. I think
not Summer Glau. Not Summer Glau.
No, not Summer Glau. No. I think there's a possibility to go there, but you can say there is a fan base. There's a number of people. You go to cons, you still see people dressed up as V. Quite a bit. So
the uniforms are very iconic.
Yes.
And I always look at the weapons, being a prop guy. Definitely, the weapons are iconic.
Yep, and you can still get the
So-
weapons from all the different prop makers, and I think I was trying to get a hold of some of the people from there's a Connecticut Mothership, I think, group online that does the uniforms, and they go to Dragon Con every year, and they did a thing with Bryan Singer. They had the applause signs for the original V. They all lined up the front of the stage and stood there like it was great. It was fun.
Well,
I think it's weak.
So
I don't think
definitely
it's
weak.
dead yet. I think it's weak. Definitely, I don't see any movement on it, but there's still a pretty good fan base.
So props to James McCoy, Marina Bakarian
Yeah, that's it.
for
Moriana or is it Morena or Moriana? Morena or Marina? All right, next up, one of my favorites, Logan's
Okay.
Run. Now,
I-
there has
Go
been
ahead.
numerous rumors back and forth, and we tried to interview the director of the supposed remake of Logan's Run. And it's just been wallowing somewhere in the ether. I think it's still a possibility to bring it back and redo it, but I don't think it's on the forefront. So I don't know if I want to say it's dead. I would definitely. It's between weak and dead, but it's almost dead because the fan base is older, like me,
right.
and nobody knows anything about it. So I think the fan base being older, and Hollywood's looking to make money, this could be an idea that they're looking at, but I don't think they're looking to make much money off of it unless they can spice it up for the younger crowd.
I'm gonna call it dead.
You're gonna call it dead, huh?
That really hurts me to say that because
Yeah.
I do love Logan's Run, but I also think if I did a cosplay and went to con, probably 5 people would recognize me.
Yep.
I could probably
there's a big group of Logan's Run cosplayers at Dragon Con every year.
really.
Yep. They got the
'Cause
Sandman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. See, but that's the most iconic piece. Everybody else, the
That's
Sandmen are the only.
I know a couple of them dress up like the Jessica does too with the Ankh.
Yeah, but see, if I saw that, I wouldn't. So are you just doing the 70s, or there's the Ankh? Okay, Logan's Run. You
Logan's
would
Run.
have that you in. So.
All right, I'm close. I'm close to dead, but I'm not willing to call it dead. But it's close. All right, next up, Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes will never be dead.
I don't think so.
I think that's.
And if you ever get a chance to listen, and I think the book is free on Amazon, if you have Audible, it's one of the free books. You don't even have to pay. You don't even have to pay credits for the Planet of the Apes. A great Audible audiobook. But Disney now owns Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
So now it's not only the House
recently?
of Mouse, it's the House of Apes. On cocaine.
I think Planet of the Apes is one of those stories that you could afford to tell and retell and retell. And you've got comics, there was a TV series. There's so much going. Planet of the Apes is definitely not dead.
No.
And I don't think it'll be dead for any time in the near future.
I think we're good to say it's strong because Disney is getting ready to release Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes here shortly. Now, Planet of the Apes is definitely my daughter's favorite because I let her watch it when she was really young, and it scared her, and I got in trouble for it. But I was trying to expand her horizons, and talking apes was just a little too much for a 5-year-old. Just a little too much. And she always mentions that too.
You take her to the zoo, and she's like, Cornelius,
yeah,
talk to me.
Talk
I know
to
you
me.
can talk.
Oh my gosh, it's going to enslave me. It's going to break out of the cage. But yeah, I think they're going really strong, and they've done a lot of different ones. Now, another one, if you get a chance, the books The audio books for Planet of the Apes are available on Audible, and they are great. War of the Planet of the Apes was one of my favorites, and it's one of those books that you can listen to, and you definitely can see it happening in your head as you're driving 80 miles per hour down an interstate.
So, but are those books based on the original works, or is it based on the reimagined stuff, or
both?
Yes. Okay.
You can get the original Planet of the Apes books, and then you can get the books based on the movies. Okay. But really good books. So yeah, I think you're right. I think it's pretty strong. This one I can't say anything about because I've only watched one episode.
Yeah,
but from what I understand.
You watch one more episode than me, then.
Yeah, so we can't really make a judgment call much on this one, but I know Game of Thrones is over, but they've got all these other spin-offs. So I think this one's dead, but the spin-offs are alive, so maybe we call it strong? I don't know. I think it's a higher. It's not quite strong, but it's not quite weak, so it's in the middle.
Somewhere it's in the middle between strong and weak. Yeah,
I think that one's I don't have a middle one, so I can do. Let's do this strong week.
There you go.
All right, next up, one of my favorite shows,
$6 Million Man.
So we had Mr. Larson on a show a number of times, and he has mentioned, "Don't give up the faith. These shows are still available." And they pulled a rabbit out of their hat with the Fall Guy. So I don't know. I would say this is weak, but if you're talking fandom, it's dead. Nobody dresses up like $6 Million Man and goes to cons or anything like that.
No.
The fandom is not there. Now, they could probably reimagine it. I know people hate hate even thinking about that stuff, but I think if they reimagined it and made it the $6 billion man, because billion's not anymore. Like that. But I think if they reimagined it, they could probably get some money out of it. But I would say this one's probably dead if you want to see the original.
I'll agree with you there, because to me, when you start to go to the point where you're changing the name, then it's already done.
Yeah, James McCoy's like, we can rebuild him. Yeah. A $6 million dog on cocaine. Yeah, that would be a good one.
So, they did have a bionic dog.
Yes.
So,
and the bionic woman, and surprised they didn't have a bionic kid. I'm sure that was something. Somebody probably came up with that. No,
they had a movie, and it was, and they brought Lindsay Wagner back and Lee Majors, and there was a kid, and I think by that time million wasn't enough, so I think they had changed it to billion or something, or maybe they called it the $60 billion. I don't know. It was
the next one will be Bitcoin.
No, have you seen how much Bitcoin's going for?
I have no clue.
They couldn't make a finger.
This one's going to be interesting. Actually, he goes to cons quite a bit, and there's a little bit of a following. But this one, I hate to say, everybody, but I'm pretty sure this one is dead. Okay, they're not going to remake this one. It was a fun show, though.
I'm sorry.
It was cheesy.
I did watch it. I did watch it.
It was cheesy. I get it.
I'm gonna have to put that in the new category of probably never should have been made. But that's just me. Yeah.
The best thing about that show, and I think James McCoy's right. The soundtrack. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. Yeah. And that's sad that I can remember that this many years later. I can't remember what I had for breakfast, but I can recite the song to a show that's been dead for years. All right. This one is definitely an interesting one.
Okay.
It's dead. Nobody can do that show without Robin Williams. Robin Williams was the main thing on it. And once again, I've seen one person at a con dressed up as Mork with the triangle and everything in the jumpsuit. But I haven't seen anything other than that. What do you think?
Okay. Is it dead? Yes. But because it's been a long time. So that was late 80s.
Yep. It's right after Battlestar Galactica, by the way.
If the right
they were fighting back and forth for.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We talked about that. If the right comedian came along, I think they could redo it.
Who do you think? Gabriel Iglesias? He could do it, I think. I'm joking there, but that could be an interesting one. Honestly, Gabriel Iglesias coming from outer space. Fluffy from outer space.
Okay, you know what? You might have something there. You need to email him.
Yeah. You need to do this, Fluffy.
Work. Well, I was going to say back in the day, if it had been done, I would say Jim Carrey could have done it. Yeah. Well, I guess if,
maybe.
I really think he could have. I probably would have rather seen him as Mork than Ace Ventura. So, but
or the the cable guy.
Right.
Those are horrible movies.
I think he could do it.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, keep going.
I think Kevin Hart.
Yep.
No, that would make Mork and Mindy rated R.
Yeah.
I think. Oh God, I lost it. Somebody. Oh well, I'll think of it later. But somebody else could do it. I had a good one, and it's off in the ether now. So it'll come back.
All right. Next up,
The Expanse.
Now, I've seen a number of cosplays on these. The cosplay from there. I think with the number of books that came out on The Expanse and they did not finish it, really. There's a good possibility that somebody could do something, but there is no movement in regards to doing it. I mean, but the fan base alone got them another 2 seasons. I think it was 2.
Right.
So just the fan base alone was extremely dedicated. So I would say it's weak. I don't think it's dead yet.
Yeah. I would call it weak because I didn't read any of the books or listen to the audio tapes.
You've got to listen. Those are awesome.
I've heard a lot of people say they're awesome, and where they ended it left it open-ended for just that universe. I mean, I think the story for those characters is probably done, but the universe itself is there's a lot of meat left on that bone. So I would say it's weak, but not dead.
So somebody earlier was asking, where's a specific show? And you asked for it. Yes, we have it on our list.
Oh,
I'll save us the time. It's dead. Dead, Jim. It's dead.
Okay, let's add number 2 should have never been made.
Oh, come on. And when I was that young, it was still a pretty entertaining show. It was still entertaining.
Stand for something. It was
Alien Life Form.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay, like I said, I am.
Now it has been purchased by.
Snob.
It just recently got purchased by Shout Factory, and I guess Shout Factory has some TV channels. They're looking to put it back on the TV.
But doesn't Shout Factory do horror?
No, Shout Factory does old movies, and they remake them onto DVDs and everything else. So I just picked up the latest. They did a 4K ultra high definition version of They Live.
Oh, okay.
So,
you know what? This would be one, if they reimagined it and not as a comedy, I'd give it a shot.
Not as a comedy. I don't know if I could watch it and not think comedy.
You know what? Go 180 degrees. Make it a horror flick.
Where he comes
You
in
go
and eats
180.
everybody.
Hey,
We don't eat
Alf,
cats, we eat humans.
Alf on cocaine. I'm on board.
Cocaine Alf.
Cocaine Alf. I'm on board.
All right, next up.
The Orville. I've not watched any of those.
No, they're really good, believe it or not.
I think for
they
me,
have comedy and they have seriousness, and they've got a really well mix on it. Now, they're still waiting to find out if the next season comes out. So, at best, right now, you could say it is weak because there hasn't been a announcement for a new season. But on the opposite end of that, I know a number of people who have cosplays of the Orville. A number of people. I've seen quite a few people.
Most people that I know,
and you can go
like
buy them too. So there's still,
right.
There's still a fan base for it. Now, I don't know if there's any. Let's see if they have a Orville fan films. I'll bet you somebody does them.
I would call it weak on the production level, but strong on the fan base. Because anybody who likes that, the reason I didn't care for it, I didn't watch any episodes, is I think they real worlded it too much for me. They swear, and it's
there's a couple of fan series.
Really?
Yeah, who would have thought? But yeah, I think it's weak. Seth MacFarlane has always been a Star Trek fanatic when he was younger, and that's kind of why he went with this one. But it's dying. The notoriety is starting to die off a little bit. I think they're going to struggle to get to the next season.
You know, I think the thing that will kill Orville is it's being trumped by the thing it's mimicking.
Yeah.
They're doing so well on Star Trek. Why do we need the Orville?
Yeah.
You know.
There's one of my favorites.
Under the Dome. I've never seen that one.
Yep. And unfortunately, I have to say it's dead. It's not coming back. It's not coming back. But if you do get a chance to watch it, it's a great 3 seasons to get experience with Under the Dome, and it's a mystery, and it's science fiction type stuff. So it was good. Based on Stephen King.
I might have watched the very first episode of that. Wasn't there one Twilight Zone of something like that, Under the Dome or something like that, where there's like a city or a town was walled off or whatever?
Yeah, that's the whole premise behind Under the Dome. That's Stephen King, by the way. So,
okay. Well, you know what? I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, hey, give it a shot.
It's dead,
but
I'll give it a shot.
It's dead because nobody cosplays that or anything else. Here's another
one. What
one.
Would you cosplay for that?
Yeah. Well, there's the people in there. This is another one that unfortunately is probably that's dead. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
Sequest DSV is probably not going to make a comeback.
Sequest killed itself.
Well, was it Sequest 2023? 20?
Yeah.
20
well,
something.
They started in the ocean, and then something happened that they ended up on another planet, and
yeah, it's the 2020 version, 2020 whatever version of it.
Yeah, and it also didn't help. I think the young kid on the show, I think he committed suicide, and that kind of hurt the show a little bit too. Yeah. The Wesley Crusher,
dude,
character,
the one in the third one from the center.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Huh. Yeah, unfortunately, I like the dolphin. What was the dolphin's name? Damn it. Darwin.
Darwin. Oh. Stand by. Oh. Okay. They actually made model kits. I have a Darwin model.
No way. Oh my gosh.
I don't think I can reach it. I'll put a picture up later and then you can post it. Yeah, but it's actually pretty good. It's pretty good.
This one I liked a lot, but it had 1 season. And it's dead.
Never watched it.
Terra Nova. It was dinosaur type things. It was good, but and then the actors in it were phenomenal. I can't remember the guy's name with the white hair in the back left. He also played in what was the Stephen Cameron's they just came out with one, the little blue people and the freaking
Avatar?
Avatar. Yeah, he played in Avatar.
Okay. Oh, okay, I see it now. Yeah. Yeah.
Great movie, you get a chance to watch, or great show if you get a chance to watch it, but I believe it was only one season and it died. It played off the dinosaur thing that was kind of popular at the time with Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park, yeah.
And then it kind of died. So, unfortunately. Here's a good one though, Andromeda. Gene Roddenberry.
I love Andromeda. You talk about a show that had a bunch of character development. It was really good. It's dead.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've never seen anybody cosplay at it. I don't know where the fans are, if they've if they've grown too old to do anything else. But is that Kevin Sorbo? No. Who's the lead actor there? Kevin Sorbo?
Yeah, Kevin Sorbo. Yeah.
He's getting up there in ages, but he's always fun. He goes to cons all the time and talks and everything else. He's a fun guy to.
Somebody was saying they were doing something with Kevin Sorbo within the last week.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. It might have been a fan. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's
Let's see what we got.
good-looking
Kevin
guy.
Sorbo.
Well, while you're doing that,
Kevin Sorbo news. Kevin Sorbo on why now is the right time to release the Left Behind sequel. Oh, yeah. He was big in the Left Behind series, which was the Christian Left Behind stuff. When was this out? 2022. Yeah. So he's looking to get that up and running.
here's your Darwin.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Hang on, we got to go full screen for that one. Hang on. Yeah. Oops. Oh.
I'm not Kevin Sorbo.
There we go.
Yeah. So it's a good little kit.
That's a neat little kit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Too bad it doesn't go.
And that's the sad thing about
now
it.
I've got it. Darwin on cocaine.
Darwin. Well, no, because he talked too. He was.
Yeah, that's right.
The thing about that show probably should have gone further because they had model kits. It was, they had the special effects. Everything was good on it, and it just somewhere along the line it just derailed. Hey, I'm not dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
You the old miler, dead.
The Cylon dagger got you.
Yes, it did. So, sorry. Squirrel!
Squirrel!
What's next?
Hang on, I gotta get to the images again and get rid of dead. There we go. All right. So that was Andromeda.
Dead.
I don't know who sold the rights to Will Ferrell to make a remake of this show, but they should have been shot.
Yeah.
I love the original show, and these people are at cons quite a bit. I mean, I think you were just mentioning that they were going to be at a con close to you.
Yeah, the girl and the brother and sister are going to be at Wonderfest this year.
Yeah,
and that's in the first weekend in June. So
I would say, I'm afraid to say it. I mean, I don't see any movement anytime soon, and I don't see a lot of people dressing up as those. I do see the actors, those two actors, coming to a lot of different things. So I hate to say it, but I'm leaning towards dead.
Oh no, it's dead. I mean, even
especially after Will Ferrell stabbed it with the abomination that he made. It really wasn't that funny.
Were the Slee Stacks in it? Because the Slee Stacks, which is the alien there in the
right,
those scared the.
Oh yeah, they were scary.
Out of me when
what was the Enoch? He was Enoch was the smart one, or was it Enoch that was the one that talked to them and helped them? That's Enoch there, I believe.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, That's sad. I can probably remember that. Once again, I can't remember to have breakfast, but I can remember the character in a 1970s freaking
You know what
cartoon
though?
that I watched when I was like 10 years old.
I could see somebody redoing that as more of a serious film,
Mm-hmm.
and it doing okay.
No, it wasn't Chaka, but I do remember Chaka.
No, yeah, not Chaka. Yeah, Chaka was
Chaka
the
Khan.
little, but
Chaka. No, it's not Chaka Khan either.
no, not Chaka Khan.
Did Chaka go to a con? Chaka Khan. Yeah, I can't. I think it was Enoch. That was the name of the. All right, that one of my favorites is up next. Enoch.
Mike,
I think it was Enoch. Yeah, that's it. There we go. What do you think? There is a big following.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say you're going to see them at cons, but I know they have a very large fan base. And I know, matter of fact, we'll be interviewing a group of fans that are rebuilding the Mack truck and the trailer. They actually have found the original Mack truck and trailer, and they are rebuilding it from the ground up. So, and you can, for I think it was $120, you can actually get a piece of that Mack truck as they pull parts out and put new ones in. So like a hose or whatever else, and it's got a picture of the Mack truck and everything else. I'm like, no, I don't need that. It's cool, but I really don't need that. It's cool, though, but I really don't need that. So yeah, we'll actually have them on there. So I would say, and then of course, how many remakes have they had on it already?
Exactly. They had the 2000s.
They're still going to do another remake, I think. If they did the Fall Guy remake, this is still good for another remake, I think. So I would say weak.
I would say weak to dead, because the challenges on this one is you got to find the right guy for one. You got to find the right car for two. You got to find the right voice for Kit.
The new Knight Rider will be a Tesla.
Oh, God. Oh. That would be embarrassing. Michael, I can't go any further because I need to recharge.
Michael, please pull into the next recharge station and stay 45 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had a different one. They had Knight Rider 2000. They had a Knight Rider where he was in it. And I don't think it's dead yet. I think I'm leaning, I feel leaning towards weak to dead, right in between there. I don't know what you call that. Zombie.
I would go.
It's zombie. It's not dead.
Go,
it's weak, but it's not quite dead yet. So I guess zombie would probably be more with
actually, zombie's a good term, because if I don't think production wise, it's you're going to go anywhere, but the fan base still is always going to hold someone's heart in the fan base. So
yeah,
zombies actually a good. So it's not it's dead, but it still has life.
Right. It's still
zombie.
There's still it's still existing.
Yeah.
All right. Somebody else mentioned this one earlier, and yes, we do have it on our list. Space Above and Beyond.
Space Above and Beyond.
Now, this is a tough one for me. I want it to be weak. I really want it to be strong. But I think I don't know if the storyline is ever going to get picked up by anybody. It was, I didn't even know about this show until a couple of years ago. I never watched it when I was growing up. So, Cocaine Tesla. There we go.
I didn't even know about the show until you told me about it.
Yeah. I mean,
I was aware of it, but I didn't watch it until
right. And you get to see it on, and it's a really good show. And it's a really, the actors were really good, the actresses were really good, and we did interview the commander.
Yep.
And what a great guy too. If you ever go back and see one of his interviews, but yeah, I hate to say it, but I think I'm going to have to lean towards. I don't see anybody doing anything with it.
It was a good show. I wouldn't call it a great show, though. I mean,
it was a budget show. I think you could look at it and say it was lower budget than some of your bigger things were. I don't know what I don't remember what as an NBC or what group had them on.
I think I want to say it was CBS.
Yeah, CBS.
I think it was CBS because it definitely wasn't on NBC. I think it was CBS. Could they? Could they?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's pretty.
Yeah, she's a dead. She's a dead.
He's a dead Jim. It's dead Jim.
Dead Jim. He's dead Jim.
One of my favorite book series, audiobook wise, is Altered Carbon. The audiobooks on these were amazing, and the shows matched pretty good. You know, I think there was 3 seasons. There was 2 seasons and the third season to make it, or 3 seasons and the fourth season. I can't remember. But yeah, Paul says he thinks it was Fox was the Space Above and Beyond. I think you're right, Paul.
Okay.
But Altered Carbon, I think, with the book series that was out there and everything else, it could have life, but I hate to say it, but there's no movement that I could have seen anywhere on the internet. Nobody's interested in picking the storyline up anymore. It was a fantastic storyline to begin with, but
I watched it streaming, and I couldn't watch the episodes fast enough. I think it's a really good storyline.
Yep. But it's, in my opinion, it's dead. There's nobody going to pick it up. They finished their series and they moved on. I don't think they're going to come anywhere else on it.
I'll have to agree with you on that one. I'd really want that to be zombie, but I can't even.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think there was anything iconic enough in it to where if you saw somebody dressed up like that at the con, that anyone would know. You know.
The story was good though. All right, next up, Buck Rogers. This is a tough one. Now I know. Once again, we've interviewed Mr. Larson a couple of times now, and they're still saying, "I don't give up the fight." And George Clooney in 2021 signed on to do a remake, but it's stagnant. It's something out there. They're not moving on it. But I know George Clooney signed on to be one of the producers and one of the actors. And it just, I best I can say, I don't think it's dead. I definitely don't think it's strong, and I don't know if it's quite zombie. So I'm guessing weak, because there has been rumors about a new remake.
I would also call it weak, but for whatever reason, that storyline, the Buck Rogers story, is one that you could retell and over and over again. Yeah, and I don't think that particular story ever gets old. So I don't think it will ever.
Twiggy would get old for me. I mean, Twiggy was just a miniature Cylon wannabe.
Twiggy was okay.
Paul's like,
as much as I don't like comedy overlapping into my sci-fi, he was the comic relief, and he gets a pass. He gets a pass.
And I think Scott's I don't know how you say, Jin ATL Gil's at the cons all the time. Gil Gerard's amazing. If you get a chance to go to con and just go get, buy one of his shirts or whatever else, and he sells the Buck Rogers shirts and everything else, and he is so fantastic to talk to. His age, he's still all there, and he's still sharp, and he's still fun to talk to, and he will. If there's nobody around, you can stand there and talk to him for a good amount of time. Now, he is also a salesman, because he'll what you really need is one of these shirts right here. I designed this thing myself, and because he designed the logo on it himself. Designed this logo myself. I think you really should get one of these shirts, and he'll talk a little bit more. And, did you see these lunch boxes I have over here? But he's there to make some money, and I can appreciate that. But he's got some great stories, and he's so fun to be around. I really did have a good time talking to Gil. We talked for like at least 30, 35 minutes.
his health isn't so good lately, is it? I mean,
No,
he's
when
up
I
there
think
in
he went to
age,
Dragon
right?
Con last year when I met him, he had to have somebody wheel him to
Mm.
the thing. But he was standing at his booth, so I don't think he walks well.
Yeah, so he would definitely be one if he's on your list of stars to see.
You
Yeah, if you
see him
can find
soon.
and get out see him
Yeah.
because
So yeah, we said that this one was probably weak. Yeah.
weak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully they come out and George Clooney will do something. But I can see George Clooney as him.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to upgrade that to zombie for me because the studio will find it weak, but the fan base I don't think will ever let it die. So
No.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
call it zombie.
All right. Next up, this one is good, great show, but it's dead. They're not going to do anymore. They've pulled as much money out of it as they possibly could.
That hurts, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
I yeah.
The original was good, and the remake was good. Some people are like, I don't like the remake. You know, people always hate the remakes because it's not the original. It's not going to be the original.
Right.
Battlestar is the same way. It's not going to be the original. It's always going to be reimagined somehow. It's going to be something different. At least they didn't go off the rails and make different. You know, well, they did go off the rails and make the bad person,
Dr. Smith.
Dr. Smith, a female. So,
But it worked so
well, yeah,
well
she was
for
a
that
great Dr. Smith.
Oh my goodness.
She played a great part. So,
she had I didn't think I would like her story arc,
yep,
but it was fantastic.
it was.
I think the upside to this version of Lost in Space, though, is at least we get closure. At least,
Yes.
We're not stuck with, well, they're still out there somewhere. So if they never go back to it, this would be one I can see them coming back to in about 10, 15 years. Like, we need a new idea.
Maybe.
Hey, let's do that, you know.
But once again, nobody's at cons on these. The fan base on this is it's a good show, but there's not a fan following to the point where people are holding talks at cons, about the different things or what could we go. I doubt I haven't looked, but I doubt there's any fan shows event of this one. Maybe the old one. I could see the old one, but the newer one, I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I was going to say, well, I mean, the lady that plays Judy Robinson, she comes to Wonderfest a lot. And they had the robot builders, and they had the set there. I mean, you had that stuff on the show, or showed pictures of it.
Yeah.
And they're regulars at Wonderfest. So the original, I mean, I think it's going to be around for a while. It doesn't hurt that it's on MeTV.
Yeah.
That doesn't hurt at all.
I love that free stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got a couple more. I know we're a little over time, but that's fine.
Are we?
Here we go.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This one's one of my favorites. And
I would be on board for this.
I would be on board for this. But the funny thing is once again, this was a 2021 article. They want to put Alien Nation into a 10 episode series. Oh yeah, we're gonna have that happen. That was 2021. That was 2 years ago. Sound familiar? We have the same problem with Battlestar Galactica. So unfortunately, we are in the weak stage. There is some rumors about it going out. Some people dress up at cons with this, but not very many. There's a lot of people who collect the different pieces from the show. I think there's a fan base for it, but I don't think it's anywhere near the point where you need to make money off of it.
Okay. I really want to call it zombie because unlike Ultra Carbon and some of the other ones, if someone's at the con with that headdress, immediately what it is.
Yep.
But no, I'll have to agree with you. It's probably weak. It's probably not going to happen. I'll call it weak.
One of my favorite shows.
Have not watched that one, Falling Skies.
I can tell you it is dead.
Oh.
Because Noah, damn, what's his last name? Keep saying Hathaway, but that's the star of the show. when when the last final
Wiley?
season hit. Yeah, Wiley, that's it. When the last final season hit, he says, "I'm glad it's over."
Really?
So, he doesn't want to do another one. I don't see. It had a decent ending on it, so I think they're pretty good saying it's dead. And nobody does anything with that. Worst ending ever.
Said,
I agree.
Worst ending ever.
I don't know, Mike. The new Battlestar Galactica, I would put that up against worst ending ever. So I think those both would have you have to fight those two out for worst ending ever.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. So
we'll get there.
All right. Caprica. Now you have not watched Caprica.
I have not watched Caprica.
You put that one on the top of your list. It starts out a little slow, but the intrigue and the story arc behind it's more like a history piece for your Battlestar Galactica. Now, yes, I know it's kind of a history piece for the new series Battlestar Galactica, but it really doesn't connect that way. You could, as you're watching this, you could see this as the series that would lead into 1978 Battlestar Galactica. The Cylon piece of it is a little off if you're going to try to go that route, because the 1978 Battlestar Galactica, they were all androids, which in this case, they're pretty much androids with human body parts in it and everything else. You have to watch it. But, I really enjoyed it.
And I have it, too.
Yeah. You have Caprica? You haven't watched it?
Yes. My sister-in-law actually gave me a copy of it. I just haven't watched it yet.
Great acting. Great storyline. Great backstory for Adama. Great backstory for the Cylons. I think it was all great, but it's not going to be remade again. I mean, it doesn't seem like there is a interest in seeing the first Cylon War, how it came out. So I have to say I don't want to say it, but it is dead. But if you have not watched it, it's amazing. And we actually took some of this. We pulled a lot. I shouldn't say a lot, but we pulled quite a bit from this and dropped it into the Stranded Warrior, because they are Tauron, and we made our Battlestar Tauron, and the language they use in there is Greek. They actually use the Greek language as the Tauron language, and some of the backstory and the Halatha, going to the Earth and that kind of thing was good. I have to, Paul, I don't believe Blood and Chrome was better. I think Blood and Chrome was thrown together at the last minute. I think if you watch Caprica and Blood and Chrome, I think Caprica has a better storyline than Blood and Chrome does. If you like action and shoot 'em up Battlestar space battles, yeah, Blood and Chrome's got it.
Well, yeah.
But if you like a story arc that kind of connects to your Battlestar, then I think Caprica was it. But it is dead. There's nobody doing anything else on it. There's no talk about making another Caprica series. There's no talk about anything in that case. And then go ahead.
I will say that I'm going to go on faith, and I'll watch it because you're suggesting it. I think the reason I didn't watch it was, much like you guys have said previously, the ending of the other Galactica series. I think it just burned me so badly that I was done.
Was bad.
I was just like,
that was bad.
No.
Yeah.
When you destroy my ships,
is she dead? Is she a double? Is she what's going? Why are we restarting again? Why are they looking at the?
Yeah.
Once again, that was writers on cocaine.
There you go. There you go.
That's what happens when you give your writers cocaine.
There was a time where that worked. This wasn't it.
Yeah, this wasn't it. That was, Miami Vice might have worked that way, but no. Yeah. So we skipped a couple, but we're getting there. So we're down to the last couple of ones, and Battlestar Galactica 1978, and I'm going to get shanked outside my house when I start talking about this one. I know that there has been rumors, and they've been over 2 years ago now, of Kinsberg remaking it. I know that Mr. Larson has said, "Don't give up the faith." I want to say it's strong, but there's no way I can say it's strong. Weak. I can't even say it's weak. The fan base for the original Battlestar Galactica is aging out. I'm getting old too. I get it. We're aging out. But the experiences I've had recently in regards to different things, and I know there's a huge fan base. There's no doubt about it. But I don't think they are going to make any money off of that fan base compared to the new Battlestar Galactica. They're going to make more money, and they have a bigger fan base in regards to the age difference in the new Battlestar Galactica. So I would lean towards dead. I don't want to say dead, so I mean I want to keep that hope up. So I would say between weak and dead. So it's not quite dead, and it's not quite alive. So it's going to be zombied.
Okay.
It's
because if you look at the fan base, your fan base,
yeah.
We John on critical life support.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great show. We love it. We all love it. But it just hasn't been a drive by the fans to make a move on it. I mean, I'm not. I don't want to say that. Go ahead.
I'd almost want to put it at zombie, not because it's definitely not strong.
No.
And the only reason I say zombie is because the biggest problem that I had with the new Galactica is it was a little bit dark. And with the world we're living in right now, there's so much dark.
Huh.
I can see somebody saying, hey, we need sci-fi and we need something a little bit more lighthearted, more, and I can see someone going, let's try this.
Right. But
let's try Galactica, let's go back to the source material that was more lighthearted. The group was more of a family, and
I don't think you'll get a watch because everybody wants drama
really?
Nowadays. You're not gonna. Battlestar Galactica would be more along the lines of the after-school special nowadays. It's that campy.
Yeah, but I mean, think the thing
I don't
that
have a problem with it. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think if you make a new one, it can't be. It's not going to make any money. It's not going to collect the fan base if there's not some dark or drama element in this. I mean, the worst thing they had happen in Battlestar Galactica was one of their major characters get killed off by a Cylon. But Sheba gets murdered, and some that's. But I don't see it getting to that point. I see them looking at this and saying, well, it was, that's kind of how we ended up with the new Battlestar Galactica, the 2004, which was darker, more relevant to home, more relevant to, the times that, the threats of violence, the terrorism, those kind of things that were like on the new Caprica that they were doing, or they're not the new Caprica, was the planet they were on. So I don't think they'll ever remake this one. And if they do remake it, it won't be to a fan's expectations.
I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to say dead.
I didn't say dead.
Okay, right.
I'm putting it between weak and dead. It's not dead because there is still the property is still able to be done because the Kinsberg, the Kinsberg has said, the new movie is going to be based on the old Battlestar Galactica. So, but even so, if he does make a movie, it's not going to be the buddy movie, the buddy show, the family friendly, there's no way he will not make money with it, because that's not what sells in Hollywood right now. And if you want it, if that's what you want, then you're going to end up in a, it's going to sound horrible. You end up as a cartoon or a Lifetime family oriented type show.
And this
you will
is
not
why
get the same Battlestar Galactica.
I think you might still have, and you're already doing it with the Stranded Warrior. I think if that gets done and it gets enough people talking about it, I think that might be something that might be the lifeline.
But even the Stranded Warrior has some dark pieces to it. It's not the happy-go-lucky campy thing. We're looking at, in the Stranded Warrior, we're looking at the 1,000-Year War, and these people have been fighting for 1,000 years, and it's not a campy. There's a buddy kind of going on.
But what you're saying is you don't do both. It's just like you can't make the 1978 and you can't make the reimagined. So you have to shoot right in the middle.
Yep, I think we're successful in that one. I believe if once we get this done, I think there's going to be some people who don't like it because it leans one way or leans another way. There's going to be specific things in there in regards to the new Battlestar Galactica, and there's going to be some we've done a little bit of stuff from Caprica. We've pulled over inside of it, so we've tried to make it to where it joins Caprica and the old Battlestar Galactica with the very, very light spice of the new battle. I wouldn't even say there's hardly anything new Battlestar Galactica in it, but there might be a little bit in there in regards to some of the darkness that's in there. But I think, but I think that this is what you would get if it came out again. I mean, I don't think you're going to get the after school special of the Battlestar Galactica. Although you may have loved it and everything else, and you go back and rewatch it now, it's like going back and rewatching Star Wars, the original Star Wars, and going, well, it's a great show, right? But if you rewatch Star Wars, the original show, it's boom, boom, boom. It's moving so fast. And then, and it's so campy in regards to Luke and his some of the back and forth with Luke. Now, it gets darker and better as the movies go on. And once again, that's where drama hits. So that's what sells, the drama. You kind of put yourself in that person's situation. So I think, Battlestar Galactica original had some drama, but it's nowhere near it needs to be now to sell it. So therefore, you're going to have to reimagine it a little bit. And I think they went way far with the other one, a little too far probably, but.
And I think that's the only saving grace. I think everybody agrees that one went too far.
Yeah, this one went a little far. And
that's going to be the saving grace.
But it was a great a great show.
Yeah.
If they would have changed the names of all the characters, it would still have been a great show. If it wasn't if it wasn't Battlestar Galactica, and they changed the name of it to, I don't know, Space War Alpha, and changed the names of the people in there, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know that
it wouldn't have made a difference at all.
Wouldn't have made a difference at all.
I agree.
So, I think,
although we would still be sitting here going, well, that feels real Battlestar Galactica-y.
Yeah. And then, so that brings us up to this one, which is the reimagined. And I believe it's weak. I don't think it's strong. I definitely don't think it's dead. But I can definitely say it's weak because there are talks of recreating some, there are talks of putting more stuff into it. Excuse me. There's a number of people interested in creating the storyline. Directors have signed on board. Not just Kinsberg, but the guy who did iRobot, Mr. Robot. Sorry, iRobot, Mr. Robot. it starts with an E. I can't think of his name. Anyways, yeah, he's the one that's going to be doing the show, and he's already said that it's going to fall in the same timeline, and it's going to be a television show, whereas Kinsberg says his is going to be a movie. So Larson has said they still own the rights to a number of things. Could there be something? Could you spin off to you? Larson, I think, owns the rights to Pegasus, and that storyline itself. So he could actually go off on that storyline and move on if he wanted to. If he found that there was enough, it's not only will they make enough money. Usually, it's do they have enough backers, right? So are there people who have the money, or are there people in Hollywood that say, here's $2 million. I want 10% of the profits because I think this is a good idea. They have investors. So is there an investor for old Battlestar Galactica? Probably not. Is there an investor for new Battlestar Galactica? Undoubtedly.
Okay, so I guess the question is, do you want in a new, if you were going to do a new Galactica, do you want Apollo, Sheba, Starbuck, or do you just want something closer to the original universe? Because if you want the original universe, you could do the 13th tribe.
I think you could do the 13th tribe and get away with that one. Kind of what Caprica did. Caprica was really a spin-off of the original Battlestar Galactica, with sprinkling of the new Battlestar Galactica into it. But if you it literally does not, in my opinion, match up to the new Battlestar Galactica, and it doesn't match up to the old Battlestar Galactica.
Okay.
There's hints on both ends of, characters in the new, or you could actually think of the character in the old too. There's only just there's where do you get the lighter? So the lighter piece maybe kind of puts it towards the new because the person's got a lighter or whatever else. But those little connections are there. But I think, if you rewatch the show, then you get it's a good storyline. And I just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So John says the guy who does it starts with an E. I can't remember the guy's looking to do the new Battlestar Galactica is working on Metropolis series. So yeah, I've heard about that one too, the Metropolis series.
I have no interest in Metropolis.
Mike DeBurn says, I was resistant until I saw Grace Park. Sam Esmail, thanks, John. That's the guy I was thinking about. I knew it started with an E. He's the guy that has the new series. He was supposed to be the director or producer of the new series. And that leads us down to the biggies. Star Trek and Star Wars. Oh my gosh. There's no doubt in our minds. Come on now. They are strong.
Yeah, we need one above strong.
Above strong. Superhuman.
Yeah.
Strong on cocaine. These series.
Super Saiyan.
Yeah. And I think they had the magic formula. We had talked about the magic formulas before for different series. And for Star Trek and Star Wars, the magic formula is it bridges the gap in ages for years.
Yeah.
Battlestar Galactica does not do that as well as we'd like it to. I mean, the new series and the old series, but it doesn't bridge the gap between the two because people who don't like, there's a number of people who don't like the new series that only like the old series, and there's a number of people who don't like the old series, don't like the new series, and there's very few people that like both. But in the age categories, look at what they've done. So, for instance, Star Trek has a 1960s, late 60s, started out with Star Trek, and so you've got the people our age, which started watching it. It was amazing then. Then they came out with The Next Generation, right? So they got another group of people, and that went for, I can't remember how many seasons. I think it was 10.
7 seasons.
Sevens.
Yep.
And then, from there, and then that ran in conjunction with Voyager.
DS9.
Yep, and DS9.
Because DS9 was first.
Yeah, DS9,
So
Voyager, then Enterprise, and all the movies in between. So they've constantly had information. They've constantly had a different things, but they never bent it as much as Battlestar Galactica bent. So, if you look at the storyline in each one of those, they're all believable to be in the same universe.
yeah.
Without a problem. And then on top of all that, they had the animated series for the kids. Right. And now it's the new Prodigy for even younger kids.
I need to check that one out.
Yeah, so so they know.
Well, and then you've even got Below Decks.
Below Decks is more of an adult one, but
adult spinoff. But again,
it's still, it's a Simpsons.
Yeah,
and I think they they have the magic formula on how to keep the franchise going. They continuously create new content, and they target that content towards different age groups, so everybody feels like there's some part of it together. They're part of it. The new Strange New Worlds, the new Discovery, the new all of that stuff. They really have the secret formula, and on top of that, the Star Wars universe is very similar. They started out with their movies, and then they came out with animated series, and even, you can, if you want to call Ewoks the best animated series, but Saturday morning there was Star Wars stuff. The droids, the thing, they all had. Yeah, I think John's right. Van Gosting says Enterprise had a lot of potential too. I love Scott Bakula in those.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
But they tapped into the larger group of the large age category, and were able to fuel the younger kids until they get old enough to watch the movies and appreciate the movies. And eventually they're just going to keep going. Come on, Star Wars Lego action movie or show videos and movies. And so
that's on my outer edge. I've not watched any of those, but I do appreciate what they represent.
Yeah. So those are the strongest pieces in the fandoms right now. You can't go to a con without seeing Star Wars. You can't go to a con without seeing Star Trek. The actors in those are very active in making money. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. And by going to those cons, William Shatner is still a big draw.
He was here last week.
Yep. So
he was here at PlanetCon last week.
Yeah. So
at 91.
At 91, he's still a big draw. Leonard Nimoy was still a big draw when he was around. So I think, and we were talking Worf the other time, he's still going to be a big draw. There's other, and they're going to age out. They're going to pass on, but they have new people in the tube or the flight or in the group ready to move up into that age category, so their fan base ages along with them. Whereas, you're not stuck with a fan base that's this age, between these ages, and then you're not giving them anything else. And then if you're not giving them anything else, that fan base starts to die off.
Yeah.
And, it's a horrible way of looking at things, but we all have a shelf life, and sooner or later, you're going to get to the point where the fan base doesn't matter anymore. You're going to have people who are passionate about it and, do fan films or whatever else. But eventually it's going to get to the point where nobody cares or nobody remembers. And it's a sad, sad thing that a fandom will die. But fandoms do die. That's all there is to it. Defiance is one of my favorites. It's dead. There's no doubt in my mind. Nobody watches that anymore. There's certain things. You'll have some people who go back and remember it, but there's not going to be the big draw. Go ahead.
Well, Paul Rotter was saying, he said Galactica 1980. Well, I'm going to say not dead, mummified. He said forgotten, but
Yeah, forgotten. Yeah, I don't remember that one. That was Riders on Crack. No cocaine on that one. They were smoking crack. We're gonna have this little kid, and he's gonna be in charge of everything. You know what we ought to do is, yeah, and then we're gonna have Wolfman Jack. Yeah, that's a great idea. Wolfman Jack, and then the microwave. Yeah, the microwave is gonna take out a Cylon. Yeah, that's it. That's got to be it. Yep, those microwaves are horrible nowadays. We know give me a break. That's as bad as Red Eye going, uh-oh.
Yes, I agree. But I will say, and for the sake of this conversation, dead is just a descriptor, but I do believe I think dead is got to be the natural progression of some of these storylines, because some of the concepts in those stories, I think, can be completely outdated, and sometimes they need to just die.
Right. I mean,
so.
You can't unless you build on something. So, Battlestar Galactica, what would you build on? Original. So, you're constantly going to different planets. Look at the original show. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I love the original show. But what is your new cool thing that comes up every week? You can create a new show every week. You can't. You're constantly running from the Cylons. You're constantly getting attacked. The only thing new I can throw in is space Nazis.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
That was almost as bad as Galactica 1980.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they would have just kept on, the storylines where you crash, let's crash land. Okay, so let's talk about crash lands this week. Apollo crash lands next week.
Yeah, you can only do that so many times.
Right. You can only suck that story so dry before it's dust and you can't do anything with it. So I think eventually you have to find a place to stop. Now, if you've read the script, I don't know if and it's online, if you go find it, the Santos script could have been a new beginning. If you go out and read this DeSanto script, it's a great place to start as a new beginning. It would have been a great Galactica start because, they've stopped on a planet, and now it's been a number of years later, and the Cylons have advanced, and the original Cylons, which should have been the way it was started with to begin with, instead of robots, the lizard people are still out there. And so that all kind of combines in. Second Coming was a little bit the same way, but I think the DeSanto model was really good at it. Not saying Richard Hatch's model was not not good either. I think they were both very, very good ways of moving that storyline on to where, from the stagnated point that it was at. Instead of, hey, we're only gonna, the only thing they could have done with the original series is find Earth.
Yeah.
Then that would have killed the series at that point because it was over.
Yeah.
That's why they did Galactica 1980. They found Earth, and it was not ready for them.
And it killed it. It killed them. Yeah.
It killed them.
So.
Yeah, Mike. So when they reach Earth, they realize they left the stove on back in Caprica. No, Mike, they didn't leave the stove on. The Cylons annihilated them with nuclear weapons.
Let me pull out my
smells like
all right.
Smells like chicken. Smells like chicken. So, and that brings us to the end. So hopefully we haven't pontificated, and hopefully I don't have a black van out front of my house looking to stab me for the things I've said. So,
well, hopefully you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. For the sake of reference, there was a lot of talk about cocaine, and that's only because the movie Cocaine Bear just recently hit the theaters and is doing a pretty good job. I personally haven't seen it. Probably won't, just not my cuppa. But what do you think? Do you think we were off on some of those fandoms?
who's to say? At the end of the day, you like what you like, and you go back to it. And as long as it makes you happy, that's all that really matters. Our idea was more along the lines of is it going to be something that Hollywood's going to revisit? If you don't know, we're really trying to do a fan film for the Battlestar Galactica. It's called The Stranded Warrior, and we're trying to get the funding up and running for that. We're down to our last, I think about the last week before we can get that done. We hit that first goal. But Chris is bound and determined, by hook or by crook, we're going to get this fan film made. If you'd like to watch the full episode where we get to discuss some of the other streaming shows and everything, look up Interfleet Broadcasting on Facebook and check out the show. It's a really good one. I never miss it personally. But for Media and More, this has been the Mediocre Modeler. Thanks for watching.
Pew 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 pew.